Mr. Chris has said a lot of things on the podcast, but he really meant this.
So we're definitely going to hit 150,000 for tier 3. So that's good. They also said that they identified a significant amount of edit spamming and abuse. And at this time, we asked those in our community participating in this behavior for the purpose of clearing tiers to stop spamming, submitting abusive edits, and violating our policies. Hello, agents, scouts, trainers, keepers, pilots, hunters, 8th ballers, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders. Welcome to episode 216 of the Wayspotters podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you become a better wayfinder. Wayspotters is brought to you by the good people at the Pokemon Professor Network and our good friends at Pickaxe. Today is March the 5th. It's March already. Holy jeez. And with me, as always, is Jamal. How's it going, buddy?
What's up, man? I can't believe it's March. Like January, February. We're almost to the end of Q1. Can you believe that?
Wild. It is absolutely wild. GoFest tickets have been on sale. We are doing Friday morning in the park. That will allow us a couple of extra days to kind of get out and be with the community and stuff. So I'm super excited about that.
Were you able to get your tickets?
I was not, so I will have to get one of the general ones when they open back up. I said I can't find an email for their support, so I sent them a tweet. They finally replied to me 2 days later. I'm like, oh, that's sorry. The tickets are sold out. I'm like, that's not, they weren't when I tried.
Right.
So whatever, it's fine. I'll get tickets when they go back on sale later this month.
Yeah, I think they said they'll be back on sale before the 31st. So if you guys are listening out there and you want to meet us in Chicago, we are playing Friday morning, which means we'll have all day Saturday and all day Sunday to go meet people. And Chris, we have to put out our verbal self-invitation to meet with Tintino and team right now. So
yes.
So Tintino and team, we will be hitting you up on all the appropriate channels to schedule our meeting. And we will have all day Saturday and Sunday this time, so we don't have to cut into our play day.
Yes, I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited to go back to Chicago.
I haven't been to Chicago in years.
I haven't been to Chicago since the last GoFest that was in Chicago. So that was 2019, so 7 years ago. Wow. I'm just making all sorts of time flying things today. Right? I'm just going to jump in. Let's jump into the news before I start making myself feel old.
And now, the latest Niantic spatial and Scopely news from the Wayspotters podcast. Presented by the Pokemon Professor Network.
All right, we haven't had this much news in a while, so buckle up. The spacebar isn't working in the nomination screen of the latest version of the Pogo app. It just flat out doesn't put the space. The Pogo team is investigated, and hopefully we'll have a fix soon. In the meantime, the Wayfarer team has made some suggestions for some workarounds. If you can make any Wayspot nominations through the Wayfarer web submission, copy and paste from any other text capable app, so like Notepad or something like that include the spaces, so you can just copy paste, or submit the information with incomplete text and then place them on hold and edit them in the contributions page later on. So there are ways around it, but it's weird. I loaded it up and it's just it goes over it's gonna put the space there and just immediately goes back. It's weird. So Number 2, the Wayfarer team has also made changes to the way that upgrades can be applied to your nominations. You will now not be able to apply them to your new nominations until 24 hours has passed since the nomination was submitted. This buffer time has always been baked in. It usually was about 21 hours. And this allowed it's been around since before Emily. It allows you to kind of go in there and make changes to it if you want.
Right.
But this will allow Emily to process the nomination before it goes into general voting. And sometimes in the past, if you tried to upgrade it in that 21 hours, your nomination would do weird things. People
it would get actually delayed. It would take longer than it would. It would be counterintuitive to what you think it would do.
Yeah, and so the general consensus in the community was just wait 1 day and then apply your upgrade. So now you physically cannot apply it until 24 hours is done. So
right. And I think it's good because you might actually save
Yeah.
on some upgrades because some things might get
Yeah.
approved and you won't have to use it.
That's the thing, right? Like if people are gonna, especially if you're gonna use an upgrade and then Emily's just gonna reject it, now you're burning upgrades for no reason. Not that I'm sure a lot of people out there have upgrades that they're not like. I have 191 upgrades right now.
So crazy.
But still, it's nice. Speaking of Emily, Emily is back and reviewing photos again. So welcome back, Emily. Don't ever leave again. Some of the stuff that I've been getting in my reviews has been absolutely terrible. So
Hot garbage.
Hot garbage. Lastly, the Wayfarer team says that they have fixed the issue surrounding Wayfarers not receiving the monthly recap emails. I do not have mine yet. They mentioned that they fixed it a couple of days ago, so like 2-3 days into March. So I'm crossing my fingers, but I'm not holding my breath that I'll get March. Hopefully I get April.
Right. I got March's today, like literally a couple hours before we recorded this.
Yes, I've seen a few people on the forums have indicated that they've got theirs too, and there's a couple people on our Discord have said that they've gotten theirs. So, fingers crossed, I get some good news in the next couple of days. In order to receive the emails, you have to have your promotional email settings toggled on in Pokemon Go. Click the Pokeball, then the gear icon in the top right, then account, then scroll down to the bottom. And then scroll down to the bottom and toggle the setting that says email me events, offers, and updates. If the setting is currently on, they said to turn it off and back on again. I'm going to recommend that you turn it off, close the game, reopen the game, and then turn it back on. And then cross your fingers.
Right.
So
give it a chance for like a full reset.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you haven't been getting the emails and you do this and then you get them this month, let us know. Give me some hope, please. But yeah, they have started going out, so keep an eye out on your inboxes for those. That is all I have for the news.
Yeah, like you said, we haven't had that much news in a while.
It's been a while. And it's funny because I was putting the notes together and I was like, da 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 da, and then something else would come up. I'm like, oh, better add this to the notes. And I'm like, the notes are almost a full page just for the news, which is crazy. All right, let's jump into topic.
This is Elf from Space, and I spot topic number 1.
Friend of the show, Sushi Slayer, recently shared a couple of things that they nominated in our Discord. It happens fairly regularly. People share the stuff that they're throwing out there, and we all kind of, clap and give them likes and discuss the stuff that they found. One of them was a church. This church came up in your reviews, Jamal.
Yes,
and you posted,
North Carolina.
Like, yo, and it's funny because like I had this theory for like a month that something was going on with the distances that you get your reviews from, right? Mm-hmm. But I hadn't really nailed anything down. And then you posted and they were like, yo, did you upgrade this? And you tagged him and he's like, no, I didn't. So then I replied with that math gif with the numbers going on. I'm like, this is something. I'm on to something here. So I want to talk about this. The home location to the reviewed location for you was 1,800 kilometers.
Correct.
The bonus location to the reviewed nomination location was 3,100 kilometers.
Yes.
So this was, at its closest, 1,800 kilometers away from you.
Yes.
Right? Not upgraded. So I asked in the Discord, because this got me thinking, the general consensus is that the review area is, or I guess you could say was, the 9 level 6 S2 cells surrounding your area. So the one that you're in, and then the 8 surrounding that cell, which is, and I did the math, is roughly 160 kilometers away from the
angle to angle,
furthest corner of the corner cell from where you are, essentially.
Yep.
Right? Maybe it's 160, 200 kilometers. That's a far cry from 1,800.
For sure.
Like that's a long ways away. And like
I thought for sure Sushi Slayer upgraded it. And I was blown away when he said he didn't. And then I saw your brain just spinning. So that's wild. I'm really interested to see what you have come up with.
like when I've been thinking about this, I was just, my brain had I convinced myself that people just had so many upgrades that they were just upgrading everything. Like I have 191. I could probably nominate things for the next 6 months and upgrade every single thing that I nominate for the next 6 months and still have upgrades left over when I was done. Like I have an absurd amount of upgrades. So like my brain was just like, they have to be upgrading this stuff. Like this is the only way that this works. I've been getting nominations from 3,500 kilometers away. Because, and like it's, my bonus location is still set to Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I've been getting nominations on the other end of the country in British Columbia. And that's 3,500 kilometers. Do you know what else is 3,500 kilometers away from me?
What's that?
California. California is 3,500 kilometers away from me. But here's the thing. I'm only getting Canadian nominations.
Really?
Like I'm not getting anything from between, like I get the stuff that's in North Carolina and South Carolina because my bonus location is set to Charlotte. I occasionally get stuff from upstate New York because that's in my
it's in your your box.
It's in my box. But like I'm getting Saskatchewan, I'm getting Alberta, I'm getting like Newfoundland, I'm getting basically every other Canadian province.
That's
like I'm
wild.
Not getting, it's wild, but I'm not getting Oregon. I'm not getting Montana. Like I'm not getting Arizona. Like all of the things that are closer than the one I got in British Columbia that was 3,500 kilometers away, but in the US, right? Like you would think that they would just kind of draw a bigger circle, but they're not. And it, like I'm only getting Canadian. So I got to thinking, and I'm like, what if it's just me? Like, what if it's just something about my account? So I asked in the Discord, and I got a couple of answers. Sushi Slayer is from Arizona, and he's getting New York and Florida, no Canada.
Right.
Just Quit Now has their bonus location to New York, New Jersey, no Canada, but they get New Mexico, Arizona.
Right.
I know you don't get a whole lot of Canadian nominations.
No, not anymore. Yeah.
I don't have any evidence from Europe, but I think that Europe might be a little bit different because all those countries are so small.
They're so compact in there.
And they're so compact that I think that whatever the settings are, it would just encompass several different countries, and I don't think anybody out there would really notice the difference.
Yeah.
Aside from maybe getting countries that are further away. So like,
well, because if you're in my favorite, the Netherlands, if you do your L6 and then the L6s, you've got 5 or 6 other European countries just by being in your box without seeing anything else. So
yeah, exactly right. And which some of the languages in the countries in Europe are so different. It must be tough for the people who are reviewing it. They're like, I'm glad that I live in Canada and all I really get is American because it's just English, right?
Because I mean, you think about it, in some European countries, you could see a German, a French, a Dutch, and a Norwegian nomination in the span of a week. And those are all pretty different languages. And you mix something in English and Spanish also. So that could be wild. If you're in that northern part of Europe, you could see 6 or 7 different languages.
Yep. The couple of people that live out that way that I talk to fairly regularly say that being multilingual is a lot more common over there than it is over here.
I bet.
So I imagine that's kind of the reason is you have a bunch of countries nestled in with each other. It's more common in the education system to be like, all right, you should probably learn at least a little bit of this.
Yeah. But it's interesting that they've got like a geo block on US and Canada. That's so wild.
It's wild, right? So I have 3 different theories.
Okay.
And I kind of want to go through them. I think.
Okay, let's do it.
I think one of them is correct. I think the other 2 are a little bit far-fetched, but we're going to go through them. I'm actually going to go, so if you look at the notes, I'm going to go backwards because I want to go with the one that I think is correct last.
Okay.
Theory number 3 is Niantic didn't do anything. I had this thought at work today, like what if it was always set up like this, but we just had enough stuff in our queues that nobody noticed.
Right.
And it happened so infrequently that nobody noticed, because the system would be like, okay, I'm going to give you everything that's close to you first. And then we just, as a community, never got through all of the stuff that was close to us.
Because the backlog was so big, and we had the Ingress nominators and reviewers in there. So we never got kind of to the bottom of the barrel. Not, I don't mean in quality, but in quantity, the bottom of the barrel. Right?
So, like, I think we're at the point now where all the Ingress people are gone, right? So there's less stuff going into the queue. The Northern Hemisphere is cold. Just maybe less stuff going into the queue, at least in our areas, like, would affect us, right? So, like, I don't think that's the case, because I think someone would have noticed. And there's been a few times in my life where I've gotten through everything in my area, and I just had nothing for days. Right? But, like, very recently, I've been able to do 100 reviews a day again. Right? Which, it starts to tell me that there's more stuff in the queue that I'm seeing. Not necessarily more stuff that's local, because a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing is not necessarily local. I think I had seven or 8 in a row from, like, Saskatchewan, Alberta, British Columbia, that area. And it's just, like, I don't really look at the address a whole lot.
Right.
Unless it's, like, a heavily wooded area, or as the streets look different, like the street signs look different, I would go, wait a minute. And then I kind of look at the address and go, oh, this is Calgary.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think that's it. I think that was kind of a wild theory that I had that's just,
Yeah.
Theory number 2, Niantic is auto-upgrading things in the background. As much as I offer this as an opinion, I don't think that this is it either, because this would imply that Niantic is going into people's nominations and manually applying upgrades. So, like, they have a script in the background that's manually applying upgrades to stuff, right?
Right.
I don't think that's it, because I think if that were the case, I would be seeing more stuff from the US.
Right. Okay. I see where you're going with this. My only thought on that is, you know me with the algorithm. I think there's an algorithm. I think Niantic kind of outed themselves with the algorithm with PvP by mentioning the word algorithm, and we all thought there was. But, you know, where I go in kind of the conspiratorial range is if you're seen as a good nominator, then they say, oh, Professor Glaw's a really good nominator. 7 out of 10 of his things he nominates get approved. We're just going to auto upgrade his stuff. So maybe, or they say from the categories chosen, and I know they have this data. They've got to have this data because they collect it. If Professor Glaw nominates a gazebo, we can look at his history and see 10 out of 10 gazebos get approved. We're going to auto-nominate this, auto-upgrade this, because we know they've got the data, right? If you and I had the raw data, we could write a script in Excel, and I'm sure they've got something much powerful than Excel, but we could write a script that would give us that data. So that, I could support what you're saying on number 2. I could support that. Now, that would be a huge, not necessarily a breach of trust, but they've kind of told us that they wouldn't do that. So for them to do that might be a little weird.
Yeah. I wonder if, and I love it when this happens, you start talking and then something else forms in my brain, or like I start talking and then you get an idea.
Yeah.
What if Niantic isn't necessarily auto upgrading stuff, like manually upgrading stuff, but upgrading it to a point where it's sending it to high valued reviewers in your country.
Yes.
Say, hey, you don't necessarily have the votes in your normal review area, but I've got some people out east who are also Canadian who are trusted reviewers. We're going to show your nomination to them and get their opinion on it and maybe get you to the point where you have a resolution now. Right. So, like, I don't know. Like, this is anecdotal. Like, I only have evidence from the people who replied to me in the Discord before we started recording.
But you know what? Sometimes the smallest little anecdotal things are the ones that are the truth, because there's no reason for me to see Sushi Slayer's nomination. And the only
Yeah.
reason why I really even looked at it is because it's the one that he had asked me for advice on how to nominate it, and I remembered it. And then literally 2 days later, I saw it, and I'm like, he must have upgraded it, because why else would I be seeing something from Arizona? So I know you need the what is it, the law of large numbers, but sometimes one incident can prove the whole theory. And then if you get something else that,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that we've been doing this long enough that sometimes we come up with things that are, we only have anecdotal evidence, but we're also correct because we've
Yeah.
been doing this long enough and we don't need a whole lot of evidence.
we just can't empirically prove we're right, but we know we're right.
Right. And like, I don't
Yeah.
think we ever will be able to empirically prove that we're right. It's just, like, it makes sense.
It makes too much sense.
It makes too much sense. The last theory I have is that they've drastically increased your review area, but geofenced it to your own country. Like, I don't know. This is kind of like a North American theory because I don't have any evidence from Europe and I don't know how that would work out there. I think that they would have to geofence it to, like, maybe they don't even geofence it in Europe. Maybe they just kind of say, hey, it's just bigger, and there you go. Right?
Let me ask you this. Did Sushi Slayer say he was getting any Mexican nominations?
He did not. I asked him if he was getting stuff from other countries, and he said no.
Right. So he's closer to Mexico than he is to North Carolina. So I think there's the evidence right there, because the part of Arizona he's in is no further than 100 miles, 75 kilometers from the border. So I think that just kind of proves your point right there. I think you're spot on.
Yeah. Because, like I said, I'm getting reviews from 3,500 kilometers away. Sushi Slayer's getting stuff thousands of kilometers from where he is. You're getting stuff thousands of kilometers away from where you are. And these can't all be upgraded. So I honestly think that we've gotten to a point where Emily is filtering out enough that it's making a severe and like serious impact in what's in the queue. And we have enough reviewers to keep that backlog, let's call it, really low. And you had people out there like me who were getting 30 reviews a day. Like, if I was lucky.
Right.
I was
Well,
getting 30
remember
a
a
day.
while ago, I had asked kind of out loud to the ether, I think they should make the box bigger. Remember when I said that? I don't remember what episode it was. I'm sure Maddie G can pull it up, but I said, hey, an easy way you guys could do something without even having to tell us you're doing it is just put more eyes on the nomination, and then you prevent a backlog from even happening.
Yeah. It's like they just were like, hey, that's a really good idea. And they went over to the slider and went boop, 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 boop.
Exactly.
And they just didn't say anything. Right? Like, did exactly what you said they should do.
Yeah.
Is they increased it and said shit.
Nothing. Right. Didn't say a word.
So I think I'm onto something here. I think that this is what's happening, and quite frankly, I think it's a great thing. Because as much as regionality matters, I think that getting this stuff through the queue quickly is more important. And if we're limiting it, like, I get the North US is different than the US, and Western Canada is different than Eastern Canada, but like, I don't see, I think the good will outweigh the bad here.
I agree. And I think if you look at the last couple of challenges we've had, it wasn't like a lot of stuff got rejected or things got approved that shouldn't have. I think the global challenges proved that on a large scale, Wayfarers can approve things that they don't see normally. So I think I agree with you. I think it's a good thing. And I think it's one of those things where the speed outweighs like local bias. Like,
Yeah.
because you remember, if you and I weren't doing this show, I would have gotten bored with Wayfarer when my things were having a birthday. You're much more likely to go out and interact with the game when you nominate something and then like a week later it's actually in the game. It's like, whoa, I had an impact on my community. But when you're like, I nominated and then I forget about it, and then a year later it's like, oh, that's right, I did that. That's no fun. It's like, we're in this TikTok society where we want things quickly and we want things to come fast. And Wayfair has a chance to just kind of spit things out. And I think there's enough safeguards with Emily and with the forum that we can keep out the coal. And if some gets through, we can remove it. But I like the direction that it's going.
Me too. And I think that the sacrifice that we have to make of Emily kind of rejecting certain things that are probably eligible once in a while, I'm okay with that, because the majority of the stuff that Emily is rejecting, and I'm not saying it's everything before people come at me, I'm not saying it's that 100%. Emily does reject stuff that is absolutely eligible, but a lot of the times it's because the photo's not great. And if people take this as a learning opportunity to improve their photos, Wayfair as a whole will be better. And I think the amount of coal that Emily is keeping from us, at least for my mental health, is totally worth it. Because when she was down a few months ago, like, it was rough. Like, it was rough sledding out there. Like, I would get to the point where, like, I did almost 125 reviews yesterday. I did another 100 today. But, like, I would get 5 in. I'd be like, I can't do this anymore, because the first 5 things I saw were almost literal garbage on fire. Like, I would have actually rather looked at garbage bags on fire with raccoons dancing around them. Like, it was that, with the coal was that bad.
Oh,
So
I
if
love that.
I'm not seeing that, if I'm only seeing stuff that at least if I'm going to reject something, if I have to look at it and make a decision on whether or not I like it or not, I'm okay with that. Like, if I can look at something and in 0.8 of a second, I'm scrambling to find the reject button, and if I have to do that 7 times in a row, I don't want to do this anymore. So, like, I think, not to kind of turn this topic into an Emily topic, but I think that increasing the width of everyone's review area and increasing the amount of stuff that Emily's doing is going to keep the queue moving to a point where, if you do have something that's eligible, that's a good nomination, if you do have something like that rejected for stupid reasons, at least you'll know quickly and you can make adjustments or appeal and get that decision even quicker and get it into the game quicker. And move on, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. I think that it's one of those things where it just makes too much sense. Like, it's just, I know we always say common sense isn't common, but I think we can really get to a level of common senseness, if that's a word, in Wayfarer by just a few tweaks. Like, we're not that far off from the system being pretty good, and to where a person who doesn't interact with the system would go, okay, I don't know anything about it, but if I was going to design it, this is pretty good. Like, I don't know a whole lot about manufacturing and warehousing, right? That's kind of your expertise. But if I walked into your shop and I said, yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, you know what I mean? I'd look at it and go, if I was doing something logistical, this is probably how I would do it. You could probably tell me all the little nuances, but I'd go, yeah, that makes sense, as opposed to, I'm going to put this here and I'm going to move it here, and then Bob is going to get it and move it there. Like, whoa, why are we doing this with like 3 or 4 people? Yeah. So, it's kind of one of those things.
100%. So, like, I think these changes are good. I think if this is some sort of experiment, I think they should just keep it.
Me too.
I don't think they should tell us. I think they should just let it go, because no one's talking about it other than us.
Right.
I think that this is a good thing. And I think that people will just get used to the way it is. And I honestly think that a lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to the address of their reviews, which honestly you probably shouldn't.
Right.
I would say 95 to 98% of Wayfarers, when they're doing the reviews, have absolutely no idea where this thing is. And that's probably for the
I
best.
like that. And I made an executive decision when we set up my plugins. I don't have anything as far as S2 sales or anything on my review. I have it on my map when I'm doing my nomination, but I'm reviewing completely independent of if it will create a new POI in the game or not. I made that decision. I took advice from Agent X, and Agent X was like, let the nomination stand on its own. Don't judge it on whether or not it's in another cell or not. I'm like, you know what? The guy's right. I'm going to do it. So I'm reviewing completely naked, vanilla, whatever you want to call it. The picture and the description and the supplemental are standing on their own with me.
That's probably for the best. I have the S2 cells turned on mine just because I like to know.
Yeah. I might go to it, but I'm just going to go with it for a while and see how it looks.
I used to get real, I can't use the word that I want to use, picky, with cell placement and pin placement and review supporting. And then Agent X and you and I had that conversation. And he's like, why? And I'm like, yeah, okay, you're right. You're absolutely right. So I don't have, the one thing I don't have on is the location edit one where it pins where the thing is now.
Yes.
I turned that off. That off because Agent X is like, why do you need that on? And I'm like, because I like to know when people are trying to abuse the system. He's like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
no, he's right.
You're right.
There's a reason why Agent X is an ambassador. I mean, there's a reason.
Just pick the right one and move on. I'm like, fine, you're right.
Exactly.
So I like where Wayfarer is going. I'm very curious whether or not we will ever see another challenge again now that you've brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need one. I think that creating a go nominate things challenge might cause more harm than good. You know what I mean? Because people are going to be out there nominating stuff anyway. The edits challenge was great. Like, you had a lot of superfluous stuff, like people adding periods to the end of, like, it was just, it was good, but I think that ship has sailed because I don't think we need another one. So, like, I legitimately wonder or not if we'll ever see another challenge again.
Unless it's like a African one or an Indian one or an emerging market that doesn't have a lot of reviewers. If it's like a 2-day, like a Friday, Saturday, we're going to review all of India and Africa and Australia, or, just an emerging market that they're, want to do, or if that might be the only thing we see. But I'd be interested if someone's listening from Boston. I would love to know what's going on with the queue there, because that queue was all kinds of messed up. But I haven't seen anything on the forum, so I would just wonder what that looks like. But I agree with you. I don't know if we're going to see. Well, I'll say this, Chris. I don't know that we'll see any kind of review in the form that we were used to seeing a review or a challenge. I don't know if we'll see a challenge in the form that we were normally used to seeing them in.
Yeah, because the last couple were emerging markets, but they were just like, no, we want people in that market to do it. Like, we want to encourage people in that area to do their own reviews, to do their own nominations, and to do their own thing, because we want them to be able to be self-sufficient. And I think that's the answer, because they were going into underserved areas and saying, hey, world, do all the work for them. And then they would just go nominate a bunch of stuff. It would all get approved, and they'd be like, cool, this is great. And then everyone left, and they were nominating stuff, but no one was reviewing. And now they're right back to where they were before. Like, where did everybody go? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that the last couple that they did, it was really smart. They were like, no, unless you have your bonus location there set already before I made this announcement, don't go put it now.
Right.
Or you live there, you can't participate, which sucks for the rest of the world, but I think it's the right approach. So I think that you're right. I think that we might see some more of those, but I don't think that we'll ever be involved in them. So, and honestly, I'm fine with that.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Right?
Yeah. I don't need to be involved in everything. I got my fingers in enough pots. It's all good.
I only ever did it for the Ingress rewards, and I'm not going to get them anymore. So,
right? Yeah. You know what? We got some good feedback from the episode we did last week when we said we weren't going to talk about Recon, and then we talked about Recon.
We talked about Recon, yeah.
We're not going to give Recon any airtime. Okay, here's a whole show on Recon. But we got some good feedback from that show, so I was pretty proud of that show. I think we did it in a way that we were objective, but gave our own personal opinions.
100%.
Yeah.
And so, I mentioned on that show that I was really only playing Ingress to keep my Sojourner streak alive, and I blew it at 100 days, so now it's at 0. And I haven't even opened Ingress in like 4 days. So.
Yep. Oh, speaking of Ingress, I have to give a shout out to the Ingress players who were in Charlotte on February 28th. So there was an anomaly in Charlotte, and I got to meet a whole bunch of res agents and a few ENL agents, and I got to give a special shout out to my guy Shadowcat. For those of you who are into the Wayspotters lore, you will remember Shadowcat saw Chris and I in Bryant Park in like the heart of Manhattan and like called us out. Then I'm like, why am I in New York City and someone is saying my name and saying your name? And it was Shadowcat from Kansas City, Missouri. Came over, said he was a huge fan, asked to take a picture with us, which I'm still kind of blown away, and then posted it on Twitter. And I'm like, whoa, I guess I'm a content creator now. That's not why Chris and I do this. I appreciate it, but it's not why we do it. So Shadowcat hit me up and was like, yo, man, I'm a couple hours outside of Charlotte. I would love to see you when we come into town. And I'm like, I don't care what I got going on. I'm not birthing another child, so that would probably be the only thing that would keep me from meeting you. So I went and met Shadowcat and his friends at the hotel that they were staying at in Charlotte. We had a couple of beverages. We told some stories, and it was really cool to hang out. So Shadowcat, I know you're listening. I appreciate you, man, and hope to see you in Chicago. And I'll speak for Chris and the same.
Absolutely, yeah. I was actually kind of trying to make it work so I could come down and see you for a couple of days, but I just couldn't make it work. So
yeah,
we'll have to wait till GoFest. But yeah, that was really cool. I saw the pictures. That was really cool.
Yep.
Let's jump to real quickly topic number 2.
I wonder what topic number 2 is going to be.
I call topic number 2, so you lost your couch power spot. And you can just picture the old Captain America meme when he's got his elbow on his knee and he's in the classroom. Just put my face on Captain America's body. There's been a lot, and I mean a lot, of comments on the forum being like, hey, where did this go? Where did that go? Or where did the 17 things that are by my house go? Like, it's just gone. Mm-hmm. It's almost like there's a bunch of people out there mass removing stuff that never should have made it onto the map. Weird.
Right.
I think, hold on, I'm going to look it up real quick because I have been, since they launched the map, I have been doing 2 a day removals.
You're just maxing it out. Just maxing it out. I am currently at, what am I at? 110. Oh my
110
goodness.
reports. Yeah.
Wow.
I have a 96% success rate. There's a couple that I got overzealous with, and then Niantic was like, no, that's fine. And then I was like, no, it's not. And I went to put some stuff together to appeal it. I was like, oh.
And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
I goofed on 2 of them, so.
Sorry, guys.
My bad. A couple of them, I'm not the only person in my area because I've also had a couple rejected, and I went to look and they were gone. So somebody beat me to it, which is interesting, but I'm okay with it. So,
right.
If people, I will say there are some stuff that I've seen that Niantic has re-put in.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've re-added after they've removed it, which is fine. But I wanted to kind of give some people some tips on what to do when they request to have these things re-added to the game. Because a lot of people are just posting the title, the location, and they're like, I want it back. And then that's it. And I just can imagine somebody from the Wayfarer team looking at it and going, oh, I'll do that one later. And they just, because there's nothing. And they're going to have to do all this work to look at it. And I just you know what, I'm going to go knock off the easy ones first. So I want to help the people be one of the easy ones.
Love it.
So Let's tag team this. I'll do the first one and the third one. You can do the second one.
Okay. Sounds good.
Number one, investigate it. Was it eligible to begin with? I've seen a few people post some stuff on there, and then people are just like, actually, no. Like, someone was like, I want my power spot back. It was like in my front lawn. It was great. And I was like, well, what was it? He's like, it was a power spot. I'm like, no. What was the point of interest? He's like, it was a power spot. I'm like, okay, if it was a generic business on your front lawn, it's not coming back.
Yep.
And then that was it. And then there's a bunch of other people who were just like, oh, it was on my couch and I want it back. And I'm like
the lawyer's office that you got removed.
Yeah. Oh, I would say like out of the 100-ish that I've done, 97% of them are just people's at-home businesses.
Yeah.
Right? And I would like the vast majority of them they're not even power spots. They're not even like on power spots or off power spots. They're just on the map.
What was interesting about the lawyer's office was they didn't remove it. They moved it to the correct location, which I think was still PRP, if I remember correctly from looking at the coordinates.
It actually moved away. No, It was good. Yeah, it was legit. Yeah. There was another one that I posted on the forums because they rejected it was PRP, and then Aaron's like, no, we just moved it to where it was supposed to be. I'm like, oh, fair enough.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Fair enough.
Right?
Yep.
Like that's as long as it's not on someone's lawn anymore.
Yes.
I don't care where you put it. Right? Like
that's right.
I have one that they were like, no, we moved it to the right spot, and then I'm like, that is around the corner from me. That is not where that is. It used to be there. It is not. So I need to go over there and take a picture of it and be like, actually.
Right. It's not there. So I think the other thing. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, is it eligible? Is it not on PRP? Is it not in the middle of the street? Just like if it would get rejected, don't appeal it because it's just gonna get rejected again, right? So.
Yep. I was gonna say the other thing is make sure that you're detailed. Include as much information as you can. So, do you have a picture to prove that it's there? That's big. Like I said, hashtag not sponsored, but would like to be. The GPS camera is a great tool. And even if we're not sponsored, I'll still talk about it. Take that picture of the POI. It'll put the name of the city, the state, the province, the country, the GPS coordinates. It is a great way to prove or not prove that POI is either there or not there. So not only do you get the picture, but you get the exact GPS coordinates. Another thing is like news articles. There's tons of outlets out there that write stories about historical things or something that happened at that location. And the internet doesn't die. So if someone ever wrote something on the internet for it, it's there. Even if you got to go on the Wayback Machine, doesn't hurt you. It takes 10 seconds. Go on the Wayback Machine and put a link to it. It's not like the days of where you had to go to the library and get microfiche and cut it out and post it on something like the internet.
Yeah.
You remember microfiche. You smiled when I said that. You remember that. So a news article is something that's just awesome to help you prove it. Or what I've seen people do is use a news article to prove that it's not there. You know, they're like 110-year-old building torn down in East Charlotte. You know, and then it's an article about that it's no longer there. So you can use it to prove it either way. And then treat it like a new nomination because essentially it is, right? You want to think of it as I need to show proof of what I'm doing. And I want the people looking at it to look at it through that lens that this is something brand new that I need to show them why it's there. So that's something that I think you should do because it essentially is a new nomination.
Oh, 100%. There was an interesting one on the forums recently that someone was like, oh, this has been removed. I want to put it back. Here's a picture of it being where it used to be or where the Wayspot was. And then someone else was like, hey, I went on Google Maps and it looks like this has been removed. And he's like, no, here's a news article of saying that we did construction in the area and took it away, and now it's back and then it just happened to do so. That's evidence. People were just like, "That's fantastic," and that's the stuff that you need because what's Niantic going to do? They're going to go on street maps and say, "No, look, when the Google car drove by, it wasn't there, therefore it's not there."
Right. Yep.
Right. But if you can think about, and I've said this before, if you can think about all of the questions that the Wayfarer team's going to have about your request, and answer them before they ask them,
yep,
you're golden.
In the sales
Number
world,
3,
we call that a pre-buttal instead of a rebuttal.
Exactly.
A pre-buttal.
That's a good. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
Number 3, be patient. The Wayfarer team will get to it. Tagging staff every couple of days isn't going to make them get to it any quicker, and it might actually take you longer. Because I know that if I'm working on something and someone's like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet? I'm going for lunch. Sorry.
Yep.
That's just the way it is, right? If I told you I was going to be done by 3 p.m. and you're messaging me at 1, now you're definitely not getting it till 3. Right? So
Correct.
Just be
3 on the
patient.
dot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And listen to the community, because there are a ton of Wayfarers on the forums who will help you with your request. They will look at it and say, hey, do you have this? Do you have that? Maybe you should take this picture. Maybe you should go to this thing. I've looked at this and I looked into it, and can you answer these questions that the Wayfarer team is going to have? And if you can kind of get all that into your thread before Niantic gets a look at it, again, like Jamal said, you will pre-buttle all of the rebuttals, and then you're gold.
Correct.
So...
Correct. Yep.
And like the less work Niantic has to do, the quicker that it will get resolved. Because guess what? The Wayfarer team are human. And like if you know some of them on a Friday afternoon just want to bang out a bunch of them, if they're just going to scroll through the ones that look like they're going to be on work, that's a Monday problem. That's a Monday problem. That's a Monday problem.
Monday problem.
Oh, yep, I can do this one. Oh, yeah, I can do this one. So make other people's lives easier. You'll make your life easier.
Correct.
What time are we at? 46. Okay, I have tallied the votes for my March Madness Wayspot bracket.
Yes.
I have put together the bracket. I'm not going to reveal it today.
Okay.
We will go through this in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks from this show, on my next show, we will go through the bracket. I took the 16. So there was, what happened was I had 20, and I'm going to say it now. I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. I forgot to put neighborhood signs on there. It is not in the list. They filed a last-minute appeal and it was rejected. So I apologize to any neighborhood sign enthusiasts out there. They will not be in the bracket. So I had 20, and I had the people in the Discord.
They're just going to win the NIT. That's what they're going to do.
They're going to win the NIT. Yes, exactly. I took the 20 and I put it in there, and then I tallied up the votes, and my plan was to take the 4 top vote getting points of interest and just remove them all. We had 2 that are straight gone, and then 3 of them tied with 2 votes. So we're going to have a play-in game to get into the tournament.
Got to go to Dayton.
We're going to go through the whole... We got to go to Dayton for the playing game. So we'll have a 3-game round-robin tournament for 3 nominations. And
if you're not from the U.S., the phrases I'm dropping, NIT, Dayton, they have no idea what it is. Like, what's the NIT? Idea. Why are you going to Dayton?
I feel like the amount of times that we drop unrelated, unexplained sports references on this, it's just kind of a thing now. We just kind of...
it is.
I know there's people out there being like, all right, I'm gonna pause the podcast and I'm gonna Google whatever the hell they're talking about, right? So, and you know what? I'm okay with that.
Yep, exactly.
So we will go through that in 2 weeks. I'm gonna put together all of my notes. I took the 15 out of the, so we got the 3 that will do the play-in for the 16 seed, and then I took the other 15, and I just did random number generators. I randomly generated 15 numbers for everyone, and then I added them up, and then whatever the highest number was got the number 1 seed. So when you see the seeds, don't come at me because it's completely random. And we very well might have a 15 seed win this whole tournament. So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
That is all I'm going to say.
Looking forward to
that. Oh, it's going to be fun. I'm going to have so much fun with this. On that note, let's take a 5-minute break. We will play the dad jokes and be right back on the other side with Wayspot of the Week and Cole of the Week.
This is Woodwose, Sylph Scientist. You're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
This is Ayaz Ferrandis, Florida's most hated Wayfarer. You're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
This is Genji, and we are listening to the Wayspotters podcast show.
Season 5 of Dad Jokes. You guys keep encouraging him. This is why we can't have nice things.
I accidentally swallowed some food coloring. The doctor says I'm fine, but I feel like I've died a little inside. I told the dog he should embrace his mistakes. He said, yeah, that's why I bury him in the yard. I bought a ceiling fan the other day. It was a complete waste of money. He just stands there in the corner, clapping and yelling, go ceiling, go ceiling, go ceiling. I told my computer I needed a break. Now it won't stop sending me Kit Kat commercials. I stayed up all night wondering where the sun went. And then it dawned on me. My friend told me I should try meditation to reduce stress. So I sat there quietly, cleared my mind, and focused on my breathing. 10 minutes and I realized that I was just sleeping upright. Why did the math book look so sad? It had so many problems.
And welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the dad jokes this week. Let's jump into Wayspot of the Week.
Here is a beautiful example of a Wayspot of the Week, which may or may not be a 2-story mural.
On this show, we love us a 2-story mural.
Oh, love a 2-story
Sushi
mural.
Slayer posted this in and was like, hey, it's not a... Oh, sorry, it was Darker Solstice. Darker Solstice posted this in our Wayfarer discussion Discord. All of our feature nominations this week come to us from the Pokemon Professor Network Discord. If you would like to have a chance to have one of your discoveries featured, you can join our Patreon to get access to the Discord. More on that at the end of the show. So Darker Solstice posted this in the Patreon channel and said, hey, it's not a 2-story mural, it's a 2-block mural. And that's exactly what this is. It looks like it's painted on the side panel of like a really 2-3 block long car park, like an raised parking lot. Yep. So you can park underneath it and you can park on top of it. And it's really cool. It looks kind of dull now just because I think it looks like it's raining right there, but it's just like an abstract mural. It looks like there's some people in there and there's a bunch of different colors, and it has the person's Instagram tag there. And I didn't see that. They didn't share like the title or the description of this, just the kind of the pictures of it. But I thought this was really, really cool and an interesting way to mural up something that's
something
really,
that would
really
normally just
really
be
boring,
gray and bland, industrial. It kind of gives it some flavor.
Yeah, I just thought this was really, really cool.
I love it.
What
I like about it is kind of left to right. It looks like it's a mom holding a baby.
Yes,
and
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, and then there's like, I'm not sure what the next one is to the right, but then there's another woman. So it really looks like it probably tells a story going from left to right. So I would love to go there and see it and kind of understand what the story is.
Yes, yeah, I think this is super, super cool. And like I said, it's an interesting way for someone to put something artistic and colorful on something that would be normally very dark and very drab.
Yep,
so
for sure.
Love it. Let's do Wayspot of the Week number 2.
This is Sarah Amanda, and here are some Wayspotters approved points of interest.
So Wayspot of the Week number 2 comes to us from another friend of the show and patron in our Discord. It comes to us from Slink. And you guys remember Slink was on the show, did a great job. This one is cool. So Slink, if you guys remember the show, he goes out and finds these really cool murals all over. This one, he took the picture in LA when he was there for the Kalos tour. And this one is called Murals Coast to Coast. And the description is Murals Coast to Coast is by Overall Murals and is a professionally done work of art promoting mural art. And so he took it from a really cool camera angle. So what you guys will see, it's a building that's standing up, and it's, a 1-story building with an A-frame, but he kind of took it like almost like he's leaning back, so it looks like the building has kind of like an artificial angle to it. There's blue sky in the background. You can see a contrail from a plane. But what's really cool, and I know he did this on purpose because I know he's this artistic, the sun is in the background to the top left, and there's power lines that are going through the picture because it's in kind of a, residential / area, but the sun is blotted out by the power line, and I know he did that on purpose. That just gives this such a cool effect. But the mural appears to be like a person on the left side. There's like some street signs. I don't even know what it is. I'd have to go and look at it, but it looks like there's some things on the East Coast that are on the right side, and some things that represent the West Coast on the left side, and obviously some things that represent the middle of the country. But it literally shows, like, you can see some LA influence and then some New York influence on the right. It's really, it's almost too vibrant for me to describe. You can see the sidewalk going from left to right, and then the sidewalk going from bottom to top. So it's at the corner, and it looks like it might be like a bodega or a hacienda or a tienda, excuse me, on the side of the building. And it's really cool. You guys have got to go to our socials and see this. I really like this one.
Yeah, it's super, super cool. And you're right. It's the angle and the vibrancy of it, and the fact that the sun is intersected by that power light. It's a fantastic, fantastic photo. And I am 100% willing to overlook the fact that his finger is in the top of it.
I wasn't going to mention that. I was going to leave that alone. And it's probably because he's leaning back taking the picture, but that could easily be cropped out and fixed. So that doesn't. Sure. And when you look at it in the photo disc, you won't see that anyway. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you won't see that. Yeah. So it's a fantastic, fantastic job. All right. Let's go to something that's not fantastic. Coal of the week.
I've been working on the Wayfarer all the live long day. I've been working on the Wayfarer just to pass the... Uh-oh. Oh no. Hey Jamal, I found some coal.
And I love this one just for the simple reason that this title is fantastic. Nothing else about it is fantastic, but the title is fantastic. This is Skeptical Electrical. And this is from Yamp. And the description is, this permanent street art, permanent, I'm going to use quotes, by an unknown artist graces the side of a neighborhood electrical box. The artist's signature style is found all over the area in unexpected places. It's just graffiti. It's a graffiti face on the side of an electrical box. And it's just like a white splotch with a smaller gray splotch. And like it looks like somebody has just drawn a skeptical stick face onto it in black marker. And like, I love that title. The title is fantastic. Skeptical.
Title is fantastic. If it was a different picture, what it looks like to me, Chris, is that the city might have come in and put some primer, like they were going to repaint it, and then the person drew the face on there while the primer was still drying or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, like it almost looks like they put that primer on there to cover up some other graffiti that was on there, right? Which tells me that this face is not going to be on there for very long. Correct. Yep. So, and it looks like it might be on someone's. It's okay. It looks like it's outside of an apartment building, which is fine. But yeah. This is not great. Not great.
Nope, definitely cold a week.
So, non-permanent graffiti. See you later.
Wait. 30 days. No, kidding. Sorry.
30. Insta ban. You got anything else?
I got nothing else, my friend.
All right. I will go ahead and sign us off. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Wayspotters. We really appreciate it. A big thank you goes out to our executive producer, Kate the Cons, and to our show historian, Matty G. And to all of our patrons. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you so, so much. We would also like to thank our gym leader Patreons, Matty G, Espion Willow, KJ Deman, Herbert, Brandy, Bridgert, and Fisher JZE, and James. To the other executive producers on the network, for Good Morning Johto Monkey Bread and Xander for Lured Up. And to our Giovanni level supporter, Boris is yeah. Thank you all for all of your support. We definitely couldn't do this without you. Now, if you enjoyed this episode of Wayspotters, there are a few ways that you can show us. Follow us on all of our socials. We are on Twitter at Wayspotters. We are also on Instagram at Wayspotters Podcast and on TikTok at I Make Wayspots. We are incredibly responsive and love interacting with our followers. Let us know what you thought about today's episode. You can also visit our website, www.wayspotters.com. From there, you can get links to everywhere you can download the show. You can also send us a message directly from the website. Or email us, wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. For those of you who still need to be sure to check us out, youtube.com/@wayspotters-podcast. Leave us a voicemail on our hotline, 704-426-3710, or tweet us a voice message. You never know, your voicemail may appear on an upcoming episode of the show. Finally, if you are not a member of the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon, you can join for as little as $1 US a month. All you need to do is go to patreon.com/PokemonProfessor. You will have access to the Discord for the entire family of shows across the Pokemon Professor Network, including Wayspotters, Special Conditions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcast, Good Morning Johto, Sleep It Off, After Darkrai, and Lured Up. It is a fantastic place filled with fantastic people. Jamal and I are active in the Discord quite a bit, so come and hang out. We would love to have you. With that, we look forward to you joining us again next week here on Wayspotters. We appreciate all of the support we get each week. We couldn't do this without you. And remember, it's not that far. Get out of your car.